Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the Purpose Pod. I am your host, Alan Levi Simmons, the Mr. Never Stop, Never Quit, Repeat himself. I'm my own fraternity right here. I'm trying to get these little headphones over my ears. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another episode of the Purpose Pod. Man, I am so excited to be here today. Antonio is going to give us a little show time. Just playing. I don't know if he's going to give us a show. I asked this man if he would sing a song. He never responded. I'm just playing. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out if we can hear some royal love today. But I want to do one thing before I bring in Antonio on. Let me make sure that the music did not mess up anything on Facebook really quick. And then I will be back. So if you're on Facebook, let us know, comment in the comment section so that I can see it really quick before I bring on Antonio so I can make sure we're good to go. So please make sure you comment if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. I'm checking right now. And we'll see what happens. Okay. Do we look good? Are we good? People on Facebook, if you see it, let me know. If you see it, let me know. That way we can, I think I am good. So, like I said, welcome back to another episode of the Purpose Pod, where we are purposely driving you forward with power and faith. My last guest on the Purpose Pod was Mr. J. Dwayne Garnett. Love is a parable, healing forward. It was an amazing interview. I got to shout out Tracy Phillips because these two individuals, Antonio and J. Dwayne, are connections of Tracy Phillips. And I just got to thank her. But let's go ahead and bring on Antonio Santoro.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's going on, Antonio? Welcome to the Purpose Pod.
Let me tell you, thank you so very much for this opportunity. And again, shout out to Tracy as well for the connection as well. But I do want to say, listen, I was backstage just pretending like I was in the club with that music.
We got you.
I was like, I felt like I was in the club. I was like, why the music got to stop? It's the last call, but we got to jump in here and make sure that we push some purpose.
That's right. We got to push some purpose. Thank you, man. I'm just so excited to have you here. I was looking at our LinkedIn message when you first messaged me. I think it was earlier this year. So we've been sitting on this for almost a whole year now. And I'm just really glad that you reached out, and I'm glad that I had the space open, and it's just working out. So I'm just really excited to have you. How are you doing today amidst the pandemic and everything? Like, how has life been for you?
Yeah, I am doing very well. Very, very well. Things are really just coming together. All things work together for the good. So I am really, I'm really in a good space right now, in a good place. Yeah. And really just seeing what is next. That's where I'm at right now.
I like that. So you're in a good space. So like COVID is doing different things to different people, man. Like the pandemic in itself last year. Like, what was it like for you last year? Like when everything, like they shut down everything and then we had to stay at home. Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah. So for myself, and let's just go ahead and on the onset, faith is my foundation for everything. So I want to make sure, and I know that this is obviously a podcast that allows that space and place for that, but faith really was my driving force last year and kept me. It was a year that I wanted to really, I was intentional about this time. I think that time is such a powerful currency that we have. And the time where we were, secluded to our homes and that kind of thing, I really wanted to be mindful and intentional. I decided that, I was not going to go into the pandemic the same way I was going to leave. Like, it wasn't going to be the same Antonio.
Yeah.
So, when the gym shut down, I was like, well, I got to find an alternative. So I started running. I lost 35 pounds during the pandemic.
Wow.
Started working out, started feeling a lot better and being healthy. By the grace of God, I was really kept in that way, and really focused on other things as well. It was during the pandemic that I actually recorded my album, Royal Love. And again, these are some things that I was really working on when the world was sleeping and shutting down, I was really trying to be intentional with that time.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you have this, like, it's almost like you were the seed that was planted in good soil. Despite what was happening around us, you were able to produce good fruits based on your faith, right?
Exactly. And I want to say that, and I want to also, just because I'm an expert encourager, that's what I call myself. I am a positivity pusher and an expert encourager. And so I want to just let people know that you don't have to allow your circumstances, situations to dictate how productive and how in and on purpose you're living life. The environment, the circumstances and situations around me are really just an opportunity for us to dig in and find the good in it all. And I believe that life's storms are really just invitations for us to come closer to our purpose and closer to God.
Come on, you better put that on a shirt. Life.
There you
go. That was so I love where we are right now. So this goes to tell me that we're going to have a great interview.
It's going to be good.
How you're opening the gate right now, and I love it. I love people who are just authentic and real and genuine and motivators. I love that. I want to say, like, when COVID happened, like, I started running as well. Like, I wasn't going to the gym as much. And I started running. I was running every day. I was really slim, like right now, and I'm a little over what I weighed last year. But yeah, so it's all good. Now I'm going to start running again soon. But I'm glad that you said, you lost 35 pounds. I can lose about 10. So you're giving me hope there.
You can do it. That and just watching what you eat. I think that the eating part contributes a lot to that. But it's a great, and it also helps with mental clarity. That's one thing that you speak about COVID, and it really helped my mental game a lot. It helped a lot in that area.
Yeah. So speaking about mental, and then you mentioned faith earlier as well. I had a faith question for you that I did not send to you.
Sure.
Just after doing my investigation, I wanted to ask you. So let's go to faith first. So you said faith. My question was here. How did you make the transition from Roman Catholic to Christianity? Because I was like, I never really met people that were like, oh yeah, I was Roman Catholic and then became Christian. So what was that transition like for you?
So I want to dispel the myth. Roman Catholic is Christianity. We do believe in the Lord our Savior, and it is a Christian faith. However, it's not a Protestant faith. And so I went from Roman Catholic to Protestant. I grew up Roman Catholic. I'm from an Italian family, and my mother was Catholic, raised us in the Catholic Church. And I just felt like there was something within me that was drawing me to my best friend invited me to her church. And so I went, and I was like, there's a whole other world out there that I'm missing out on. So I started to attend regularly. And that's where I really fell in love with just the Word of God, the Spirit of God. Like it was a total life changer for me. Again, I will say that does not demean or diminish anything that the Roman Catholic faith, my foundation, brought me up in. I do believe that there are strong foundational tenets to the Roman Catholic faith, great tradition, and things that I still hold dear to my heart. But that transition really happened in my early teens, where I really started to understand that there was more out there than what was being provided that was feeding me as a Roman Catholic.
Yeah. I love that. So, and thank you for clearing that up, because some of us don't know. We just don't know. And I also, like, while we're on the topic of faith right here, I want to ask you, so with that transition, what has kept you in the faith, and what has, given you the ability to pursue your faith in the way you are, and to produce music in your gifts and talents? Because I saw that you said that, like, once you made that transition and you became a part of like ministry, campus ministry, and you were singing, so your gifts were coming out at that time, or were you singing before that?
Yeah, I was singing before that at my church as a young adolescent, young teenager. However, you know, it's so interesting. And again, this is perfect because we're on the Purpose Pod, but just how literally life's purpose, just the thread, the strong threads in our lives just weave in and out of everything that we do. And so the church that I was attending, I started going to Lee University, where I got my degree in public relations. And it was during this time that I really learned not just about public relations, about who I was, and my faith started to grow. This is a private liberal arts Christian, actually, it's a Christian college in Tennessee. And I was a part of a music ministry, and we traveled around the nation ministering through music. And it was just a great opportunity to sing along, to come alongside other people and just minister God through music. And it was a passion of mine. I fell in love with it. And so, that faith allowed me to do that.
That's awesome. I wish I could sing. Like, I love writing music, but I just, I can sing a little bit now. I need a vocal coach. I don't know. You might have to, teach me how to use the weapon I have.
Here's the thing. I always say, Alan, let me tell you, and this is for anybody listening or watching. I believe everybody can sing. It's just a matter of if you sing well or not. So,
come on. Okay. So the well or not, I might be over on the not
here's
side.
The thing. Alan, I bet you sing amazing in the shower or in the car by yourself when you're blasting the radio.
Oh, definitely. It's a difference when I sing for people, though. Like, I feel like my, I don't know, what was it called? My lungs, everything just close up on me and I sound different,
and that's what's so interesting. But I always joke with people. It's like, I bet you sound amazing in the shower because nobody's your audience. It's good.
Right. Yeah, I definitely, and then like hallways, and empty spaces, like where echoes and stuff. But we have a question from Beverly while we're on the topic of faith. So ladies and gentlemen, just to tell you guys, like, we just started the show. I asked Antonio like how his life has been since the pandemic. And we started talking about faith. He used the word faith, and I was like, well, while you're on the topic of faith, let's go here. And we have a question from one of our listeners, Beverly. Thank you for listening. She says, how do you maintain your faith during desperate times? That's a good question.
Yeah. And by the way, shout out to Beverly. Thank you for tuning in. And Beverly's actually got a podcast of her own. I think you and
drop the podcast.
Right. She is the Boomer Beat is her podcast. And actually she's in Durham as well. So you guys should connect.
Yeah, we got to connect.
Beverly, so to answer your question, how do you maintain your faith during desperate times? When I must say that the verbiage, my soul has been anchored in the Lord. My soul has been anchored in the Lord. And what I mean by that is the word of God is my compass to every life situation. And that includes desperate times. So whenever I'm going through difficult times, desperate times, I know that all things work together for the good to those that love the Lord and who are called to his purpose. I know that, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, that all these things will be added unto me. I know, during these difficult times, I pull out scripture that speaks to the storm.
Yeah.
So
come on.
Understand that during the desperate times, there is a verse, there's something in the word of God, the life-changing word of God that for myself helps me maintain my faith. And again, it's not always easy. I mean, there are times whenever fear or anxiety may take over, or, questions and concerns, but I have to understand that God's not giving me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And so again, it's really just relying on the word of God. And it's something that I've fallen in love with and I can't live without.
Yeah, that's an awesome response, and it's, when you said that, it just gave me this like light, the glow, and they in faith, they say your first love, like falling back in love with your first love when it comes to God, and falling in love with Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. It's just like you have the 3-part entity, right? Because there's the relationships are so different, and each component of who God is holds you down in different moments of your life. Like the Holy Spirit brings revelation and comfort because he's the comforter, and then the hope in Christ that his blood, and I going in on the surface, but I like when you were talking, that was just the things that were playing in my heart, and it just
different functions, different functions that they serve. You're exactly right.
So definitely, if you guys are not faith-based people, please don't be discouraged by this interview. Just be open and, listen, because purpose requires faith. It takes it takes faith to walk down this road called life.
Yeah.
And could you speak on that while we're about to wrap up on faith? So with faith and walking down this journey called life, how do you keep your faith whenever, I guess, the attacks come? I know you said like the scriptures, but how do you keep the value of the scriptures within you? Because sometimes you can know that no weapon formed against you will prosper, but then these bills got to be paid, or the connections aren't working, your brand isn't moving. Like, how do you just hold on to it? Because it's a ride.
Yeah, it is definitely a ride, and it is what I call just the roller coaster of faith. There's ups and downs to it every day. There's a few things, and that's a great question. First of all, I've really had to deal with this in my young adult life. Coming out of the Roman Catholic faith, we really didn't, personally, I didn't read the word a whole lot. It's when I went into the Protestant faith that I fell in love with the word of God. Yeah. And so I learned all this word. I was quoting scripture. I still can do it, and I love it. However, that's all up here in your head. And you've got to, for those that are learning the word or growing in the word of God, the word has to travel from your head to your heart. And that's, for me, that's where I really lean in for the attacks. I know that attacks will come because the Bible tells me that it will. But I also understand that that sometimes I don't have to fight. Like, whenever anxiety comes. So for example, I'll be transparent. I was really dealing with a lot of anxiety last week. Yeah. And I just had to say, that's it, God, I surrender. Like, it's on you. I'm giving this fear to you. I'm giving this anxiety to you. I'm giving these questions and concerns to you. You deal with it. And literally within the next day, no anxiety, no fear, didn't even really think twice about it. Yeah. So I say that to say sometimes the greatest strength. Come on. Sometimes the greatest strength is in surrendering.
Come on.
And it's really just allowing us to submit to say, hey, I'm putting my weapons down because this is a tad bit bigger than what I can face on my own. So during those attacks, sometimes just allowing God to take over. And again, that requires faith. Yeah. But just allowing God to say, it's on you, Lord. Yeah. And you speak about bills. I was joking with my spiritual mother a few years ago, and I said, listen, I got these student loan payments. They're just creeping up and up and up. And she said, listen, whenever you get a bill, God, it's on you. You're going. Right. Your word says that you will meet every need. So it's on you, God.
Hold them down, God.
Yeah, hold it down. That's it.
Hey, look, I know. The craziest thing is that, like, when people look at me, they probably say, oh man, he never had to lean on God for finances or for food or for a place to stay. But like, when you talk about that faith, like, I've seen like the hand of God move in my life in a way that it's like, okay, yeah, there's no loud thunder. Yeah, there's no tornado dropping down, but there's you met a person at the school, and that person is the person that's going to open their door and you're going to sleep in their attic. So like, when you talk about these things, it is real. And I just wanted to say that because it is real.
It is so real. And what's so interesting when you talk about that, literally God will line all of that up. And literally, I know you may mention it later, but I transitioned to Atlanta just in the past 3 months. Yeah. And the way God lined all of that up, Alan, it is bananas how God really lined all that up. And so I totally agree with you. You're exactly right.
No, all right. So we're not moving from there now, because we're still on faith. And you just talked about the move. And I know when you came from Tennessee and you moved back to North Carolina, you were led to move back here. And, you recently told me that you're in Atlanta now, and you were led to go down to Atlanta. So we're still talking about faith in his way. Yeah. So we're applying faith to the journey of Antonio Santoro. So like, what has it been like on this journey, and why have you listened to these signs that God is giving you to move back to Durham or to move to Atlanta?
Durham was an interesting move. It really wasn't. It was. I don't know if that was necessarily a faith move. It was very comfortable. It was still close to home. I'm a North Carolina native, so it really wasn't really a faith move. However, this Atlanta move was definitely a faith move. I'm not going to get into all of it. However, the testimony is all over my social media. Check it out. I am Antonio Santoro.
Yeah.
But literally, in a nutshell, I came to Atlanta in the end of 2020 after COVID or during COVID, and I was just like, I just need a break. Came to Atlanta, I was at an Airbnb, stayed at the Airbnb, talked with the host. He had a rental down the street from him that the tenants were just kind of not very faithful in their paying their rent and whatnot. So long story short, you speak about signs. Literally, Alan, it was evident signs that I was supposed to move here. I was praying about it. I kept in touch with the Airbnb host, and literally the Holy Spirit told me that house is going to be yours. Wow. And I said, okay, I don't know how that's going to happen or why, but okay. Yeah. So literally I was seeing license plates that said, your move, giddy up, you're next, like pack up, like just these crazy license plates telling me you're about to move. Yeah. Then get ready for this. This is how I know it was God. So again, I've been prayerful. God was confirming things left and right. My job was being kept. I was allowed to keep my job while moving to Atlanta. So many things. But I said, God, this was sometime in April of this year. I said, God, am I really supposed to move to Atlanta? Yeah. And that night I was watching a Netflix show, and the character on the Netflix show said, that's it. And this is the line from the script. Yeah. That's it. We're going to Atlanta to see my brother Antonio.
What?
Kid you not? I've got the recording.
Wow.
I put it on my phone. I said, nobody's going to believe this.
Right.
The day I prayed, and I'm watching Netflix, and they said
crazy.
that, the character said that, I said, it's God. So for me, and again, let me also say, for those that are listening and watching, God knows his children. And whatever you believe in, I believe in Jehovah God. But God knows his children. God knows that Antonio needed 5, 6, 7, 8 confirmations. God knows that he needed to have a Netflix show in my face. God knows that I needed to see things through license plates, whatever it is. God knows his children, and he's going to speak to you how he relates to you. So if you're in the healthcare field or if you're in the financial industry, God will relate to you in where your environment is. And so I just wanted to let you know, don't be looking for like road signs, license plates, whatever. I mean, be open, as you said earlier, Alan, be open to faith, be open to God, but allow God to move as he moves. And literally the transition here has been so easy and smooth. You know, it had to be God.
Yeah. Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Well, congratulations on that move right there. We celebrate with you right there.
Oh God, I'm so grateful.
We celebrate with you. And that's so awesome, to hear these stories, because in this season right now, there are people who maybe they've lost their home. Like some people, they move because of the storm. Some people move because, it's time for change. But either way, like you said, being open and listening, and not just listening with our ears, but looking and seeing, that's the way. Like, and even in the things like in the Bible, it talks about like, oh, there will be rumors of war. You will hear so many things happening, and you'll start panicking and anxiety. But he says, watch the signs. Watch the signs. So like, and I take that and in purpose. I haven't always been walking in purpose, right? I've just been living my life like everybody else.
Yes.
So can you talk about, like, so we talked about faith, and then there's that part of life where we're not really walking in faith. Maybe faith is around somewhere because we grew up around it, but we're trying to figure ourselves out in this world. What would you say to those people who maybe they don't have a faith and they're stuck and they feel like they don't have a purpose?
I believe the purpose is, again, I do relate everything to faith because that's my foundation. However, I'm going to try to make this, simple for people. But purpose to me is the innate, what I call tags, talents, abilities, gifts, and skills. So TAGS, tags, talents, abilities, gifts, and skills. The innate talents, abilities, gifts, and skills that's within us really births our purpose. And so if you are good at music, if you're good at encouragement, if you're good at public speaking, whatever it is, there's going to be a purpose attached to that gift. And so, again, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. Therefore, because we're made in the image of God, who holds every gift, talent, ability, and skill, there is something there for you to fulfill. And I also think that I say this often, we find our success by being, we find our success in a variety of ways, but we find our success in serving, seeking, and sowing. That's what I say. And so when you are serving, you're going to be successful in your purpose, whatever it is. When you are seeking your purpose or God, your destiny, your assignment, when you're seeking it, you're going to be successful. And when you sow into it, when you invest in it, whenever you contribute to it, that's when you're going to find success as well. So we find our success by sowing, seeking, and serving. And I think that's really important for us to pull away from as well. And again, it's all innate within us that God is within us.
I love that. Sowing, seeking, and serving. So that's awesome. I love how you put that right there. I need to put that on a little note card.
Listen,
maybe
you can get it in the book.
We're gonna get it in the book now. I know it's in the book, right? It's in the book. Seeking, you will find, right? So knocking, the door will be open.
That's
it. So it's lovely. Hey,
and it's also in my book, by the way. It's also in my book.
It's also in his book. Oh yeah. So we got to let me put that up there too. Since we mentioned book, we'll put that up there. Let me get it. Let me grab it. So go ahead and show them again.
Yeah. So you can check out, it's Catapult. It's a 40-day devotional. You can
my
website. I am AntonioSantoro.com. That's my personal and ministry website. It is also a journal as well. So you can write your Catapult considerations, reflections on the daily reading. And this is a powerful resource and tool that people are using to really catapult into their purpose, into their destiny. And it's a great tool. So check that out.
Yeah. That's awesome. Y'all make sure y'all check that out now. I got it right here. www.IamAntoniosantoro.com.
That's it.
Let's go. I have to make sure I get that as well. I would have got it before. I should have. See, I'm all terrible. It's been it's been crazy. I'm gonna get it though. Don't worry. I'm gonna get it. Y'all make sure y'all support. And we'll put that back up there before we get off again if you guys need it. Let me drop the link here in the chat. So. And I'm going to diverge a little bit. So we dived into it outside of the format that I usually do it, because I usually just dive in so we can go ahead and get a little started, get a little flow.
We're
so and I know that some people may be on here because they have a business and a brand, and they're like, oh, he's a publicist too, So we're going to dive into that as well, just to let you guys know. But on the Purpose Pod, we dive into a person's story. We dive into how they stay in purpose, how they find their purpose. And so we want to give you the whole thing, people. We want to give you the whole thing. So we thank you all for tuning in with us today. All right. So I just dropped that in the chat right there so everybody can see it right there. So if you want it, copy that link right there to get his devotional.
Yeah.
So, I love the fact that when I look, you talked about service, right? You talked about serving, and I saw that you served in the nurse with the church in the nursery home, right? So that's a powerful thing, because it has nothing to do with singing, it has nothing to do with PR, but you're serving and you're being purposeful. Can you go into talking about your service with that ministry? And I know you do you sing as well with the ministry, but you do the nursing home, you work there. So could you go in and talk about that?
Yeah, so that's just one of the many ministries that I've served with. But again, I think that here's something for somebody. If you're waiting for your purpose or your destiny to manifest, serve while you do it. As I mentioned, serving leads to success. And so nursing home ministry, I find that I really gravitate toward the older generation, because there's so much wisdom. There's so much insight that they carry. And I absolutely love to learn from them. So I was a part of the nursing home ministry for several years, and I fell in love with it. And oftentimes what you'll know and what you'll learn as you serve is that you leave the experience probably more fulfilled than how you poured out.
Yeah.
And when I walked away from these experiences, serving them in some capacity, I walked away like, wow, like I really made a difference. And oftentimes those in nursing homes are the least of these and looked over and overlooked. And yet I really felt like I made a difference and made them smile, and to let them know that as long as you've got a pulse, you've got a purpose. And so you know, they've still got purpose in their life. So that I'm also executive leadership, you know, different types of organizational development and leadership. So these are the types of things that get certified coaching. All of those things are different things that I would do in service as well.
Yeah. I love that. And it's like Tracy calls us visionaries, right? Tracy Phillips, she calls us visionaries. And, you know, and most visionaries, we have our hands in different areas, you know, because we want to be impactful to our community. And we also want to empty out ourselves, you know, and we want to die. We want to empty out ourselves.
Die
right?
empty.
Yep. Die empty. So like, I love, like, that's what I see when I look at you, when I look at your movement, when I look at your music. I listened to your music on the way down to Columbia. Me and my wife, who was in the car, and like, you know, she didn't know that I was playing your music, right? So she just thought I was just listening. It was Sunday. She thought I was listening to worship music, right? And I was like, so what do you think? And, you know, she's like, oh, it's really good. Like, who was that? And I was like, oh, that's Antonio. That's the guy I'm interviewing. She's like, oh, wow, let me hear it again. So like, we was listening to it. She's like, he can really sing. I was like, yeah, it definitely. And I have your YouTube for Royal Love. I have that up, and I'll probably dive into that in the middle or towards the end, so that people can hear it a little bit, a snippet of it, and then make sure you guys go check out Royal Love as well. It's available on all platforms, correct?
It is. And I also want to say again, like, you know, Tracy mentioned visionary, and you were talking about just all these different things.
Yeah.
I want to just let people know, like, don't let people put you in a box. I believe that, again, we have multiple talents, skills, and abilities and gifts within us. And it's really important to pour out. I often say that there are so many people waiting for that gift within you. There were people that were waiting for my book. There are people that are waiting for the music, whatever it is. There's people waiting for you. And so your audience is waiting, and it's important for you to unleash it and allow it to come out.
Yeah. I love that. You know, that's a very true statement. A lot of people just don't think like, oh, you know, well, I don't have a lot of friends, or I'm not extrovert, you know, and they disqualify themselves from their own purpose because they don't see the value of what they're carrying. When did you recognize the value of what you were carrying? Because you could be talented and not recognize the value in what you're carrying.
You know, that is a roller coaster as well, Alan. There are times when I really don't feel like I carry the value. I'll be very transparent, having a transparent Tony moment where sometimes I'm like, you know, am I qualified for this? Can I really do this whole PR thing? Can I really, you know, really put out music like this? Oh, well, I maybe have another book. Can I really put that out? Right. There's a lot of, you know, we all fight with our own insecurities in ways. I do believe that the world, we are facing an identity crisis. I think that we have to learn who we are and why and whose we are, why we actually do what we do. I think that the identity crisis that we're facing, the resolution of that is learning that, again, if God be for us, who can be against us? Right. And that there's something within us that, again, is backing us up. Like we've got to understand that we will be successful. Just try it. And guess what? And I tell this even to my PR clients, if just one person is listening to this podcast, guess what? That's one person that learned about Antonio Santoro that did.
Right.
Come on. All it takes is what, Alan? Just one person. That's all it takes. And so I just want to let people know that, yeah, your audience may be an audience of one or an audience of just 50 or whatever it is. I just went to a concert this past weekend. There was about 40 of us there. And guess what? It was lit. We had a great time. Loved it, you know? Right. But again, I just want to let people know, stop getting so caught up in the number of followers and the number of fans and all that stuff. I'm telling you, sometimes not sometimes, all the time, it's quality over quantity.
Yeah. Quality over quantity, right?
Yeah.
That's powerful, you know. And I think social media gets us all, you know, in this place of an identity crisis as well. You know, like we could be entrepreneurs and we could have our businesses and we could push our music out there, our clothing items out there, our podcasts out there. And, you know, we have this expectation of, oh, I know I love it. People love me. So I put this out there and the whole world's going to love me, you know, and that's just not the case initially, you
Right.
know, because I believe that you know, you have to have character when you're walking into your purpose. You know, you can't be the kind of person that doesn't love people if you're going to be purposeful. You
So
know, there's
true.
people making money out here, right? There's people on social media making people money and making themselves money, but there's no genuineness to it. There's no love. There's no wanting to see somebody activate their purpose and bust open that door to purpose and become the person that they desire to be, because what? The world is consumed by wealth, you know, and there's nothing wrong with having wealth, but there's something wrong with pursuing money.
Yeah.
You can't pursue purpose and pursue money. You just go two ways at once, right?
So
So
true.
I just wanted to drop that right there. But
That's great. That's so valuable. That's so good.
yeah. Brendan says this is amazing. He's another podcast host, young podcast host right
Come on,
there.
Brendan. Thanks
Come
so
on,
much.
Brendan.
Appreciate you.
Meaning Four says aligning yourself and identity is extremely important. Sometimes an ugly start is better than never start. Ooh, baby.
So true.
Dang, you just dropped. They dropping bombs. We got the fire started out here. We got the fire
Yes, this
started
is
out
good.
here. I love that. So I love that. I love that. And you know, like if the whole thing of what my mantra, like never stop, never quit, repeat, right? It's like I realize, like you said, we have to, you seek it, you start. If you want to be successful, start searching or seeking for your success. Start searching for your why. You said your why. Know why you're doing something. Some people just start something because it's cool, it's a trend, and then it phases out. I knew that I was meant to do this podcast when I started in March of last year at the beginning of the pandemic, and I'm still going down after going for 30 days straight for like a couple of months, right? Like I was interviewing 30 people
Wow.
like for 30 days. You know, so like, and I'm here now, and I have, and me walking through my purpose on the Purpose Pod, I now have access to you. I had access to Tracy, Jay Dwayne, you know, all these people that I'm able to bring to my podcast so that their message can spread to people I know, you know.
Exactly.
So it's a very powerful weapon. Social media is powerful and is lovely, but if it consumes you, it might break you.
So true. So true.
You was about to say something. I heard you.
No. I was just saying that's so true. You know, I was just saying that's so true. And again, I think it really just builds on that we can't do this up by ourselves. There's, you know, again, building this network and understanding that we are members that are fit together.
Yeah. Come on. So I love this thought. Like I got my sheet, I got my paper over here, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm looking at it, but I'm waiting for the time because I love the flow we're in right now.
I love it.
And
I love it. Let's keep flowing.
So with Brent, now we're jumping in. So we went to faith because these are aspects of us, right? You, me, like faith is an aspect of us. So we can't just come to a place and talk about our business and not talk about our faith because they go hand in hand. Right. They're the reason. You said the why.
Yeah.
Like the why. Why am I doing this? Well, because I was given a purpose. And then in this purpose, I aim to connect people with my source through my light. I learned one thing, Antonio, like I was in ministry and stuff, right? And I love ministry. I love the ministry I was a part of. But in my heart, in my mind, I didn't know how to do ministry. So I just went all in, and I kind of like stopped being this guy that I was before I jumped into ministry, right? And God gave me this dream I had, and I was walking to this ship, and I was like, I had a robe on and was nothing under the robe, right? And there was this guy at the top of the ship, and they were checking people. So I'm like walking. I knew I was walking with Jesus, but I couldn't see who he was. I didn't know if he was black, white, whatever, right? So people can argue all day long. I really like it matters to a certain point, but it doesn't, right?
Right.
So I knew that it didn't matter because I didn't have an image or a vision of this person I was walking with, but I knew in my soul, in my mind, in my heart that this was Jesus, right? And so I'm walking, and this is how also I knew it was Jesus, because in my dream, he tells me in my dream without speaking to me in my dream, don't worry, you won't have to do what they do. Like he tells me this in my spirit while he's walking with me in my dream. And so I approached this the ship, and they let me through, right, without checking without checking me. So I woke up from that, and I was like, wow. So God, you love me the way that I am. And you don't want me, listen, you don't want me to feel shameful to the world. God cares about our feelings and our emotions. So if you're not ready, God's not going to expose you to the world just to make you look like a fool. That's what, with Noah and his sons, like God, like that was a bad problem when his sons exposed their father and showed him his shame. But I just wanted to go there just in case some people.
Yeah, and again, you walked through with Jesus, and what I picked up from that is that you were following with him, and you got the VIP treatment, and you just walked right through. You didn't have to get checked on and all that stuff. And it really just shows again the as you were talking about before, just the power of companionship, the power of connection, and what that how that can benefit us.
Yeah, that's right. So that's y'all church right there for y'all. Y'all came to the AS,
there
like we got
go.
the same initials right here. So
that's it.
so all right. So we're gonna dive in. We've been on also. So time is moving, but this is really good. We're gonna go on a journey here. Journey to purpose, finding your purpose and walking in your purpose. So we're gonna dive into this really quick. And I want to shout out Meaning Forge once again. For this awesome idea I have now, because I he has a podcast. I was on his podcast, and he goes through these steps of forging the sword. So I was like, I want to forge purpose. So there's a journey to purpose, there's finding your purpose, and there's walking in your purpose. So that's where we're going next. Okay, so now people don't know that you have an identical twin, but now they do. I'm telling them now. He has an identical twin.
That's it.
So I don't know if people ever ask you this in this way. So I know people say, "Oh, you have an identical twin." What was that like? But I want to say, having an identical twin, how did you keep your identity?
Well, great question. And actually, that is probably more of a scientific question than anything. Let me tell you. I did a research paper on this about twins back when I was a senior in high school. And oftentimes, and this happened with myself and my twin brother, Frankie, oftentimes parents, friends of the family, whatever, they would say, oh, get the twins. We're going to load up in the car, get the twins. Or, hey, are the twins ready for church?
Right.
Just call them the twins, right?
Right.
And in my research, I learned that really diminishes the identity of each twin, right? Yeah. So to answer your question, so I say that to say your question's right on point, because how you maintain your identity, first of all, I believe that purpose will explode out of us. And so for me, my purpose is going to lead me in a different direction than his purpose. I will say, although we are identical physically, looking very similar, we are drastically different. Now, I can say that because I am the twin, right? Yeah. If others look, they're like, oh, you guys have a lot. And I'm like, no, I know him better than anybody. Trust me. We are so much we're so much different. Yeah. There is definitely a difference in how we navigate life and how we navigate purpose. And not to say it's bad. I think, I could easily say it's bad because it's not for me, but it's just different. Yeah. And so I think for myself, to answer your question, growing in my purpose, growing in my destiny and assignment really set me apart in my identity in him.
Come on. I like that. See, that was a good answer right there. That was a good answer.
I mean, that's all I'm doing is giving good answers, Alan. So, I mean,
that's all you're going to get today. I can't promise you anything less than that. That's what I'm talking about. So we're on the journey to purpose. And I had to ask him, because if you're on this journey to purpose and you're a twin, now, like you said, go get the twins. Hey, twin. I know we have some twins back in Summerville, South Carolina. It was always twin. Even it was one person. It was, what's up, twin? So you got to keep that identity, and I love what you said about just you pursuing your purpose has given you this identity. And I think that's the same for a lot of us who have businesses as well. Like on this journey to purpose, other people have podcasts, other people have devotionals, other people have albums, right? But when we go out there and do it, it is our purpose, it is our podcast, it is our album. So how do you separate yourself from the other publicists and the other artists out there? Because I don't know a lot of publicists who are artists.
Yeah, great question as well. As I said before, I believe that your audience is called to you. And who I am called to is meant for me. And so as far as publicist or as a gospel artist, what have you, I'll briefly talk about my Sunday Best experience. I know if I may, just a tad bit.
Oh yeah, please go ahead.
So I was on BET Sunday Best season 9 as a finalist. And I remember, and to answer your question, I remember distinctly being backstage with the other finalists, and everybody was just so nervous. And I'm like, yo, you have to understand, this is a moment in time. We have to maximize our moment. Right. Those celebrity judges, Kirk Franklin, all these people, they're just people. Like, you have to understand, you'll never get this opportunity again. Enjoy this, have a blast. And that's what I did. I had a blast out there. But my point to this is I had to tell everybody that our audience is assigned to us. So can I sing to the rafters and sing to the rooftops like some of these other gospel greats? No. Can I run from here to downtown? Probably not. No, I can't do all the vocal acrobatics that others can. But I will say, there's a reason why my album made number 17 on the iTunes Christian charts, because my audience was called to me. Now, again, it's not by me, it's glory to God. But again, I will say that there's an audience for you. So what sets me apart? My audience. What sets me apart? The gifts, the unique gifts within me. And knowing that within me, I am, what makes me a stellar PR publicist is to know that I am going to make sure that you shine in the spotlight you deserve. So because that's who I am. That's the fabric of who I am. So I say all that to say, I believe that your gifts and the innate gifts within you, as well as your audience, is what sets you apart.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much. Your purpose.
Yes.
Your purpose.
That's
So being a publicist and an artist, so you've done Sunday's Best. And I love what you said about it. Like you went out there and you were like, look, this is once in a lifetime. I'm about to just go do it. This is my purpose.
That's it. Have a blast.
Have a blast in your purpose. Like, accept it. I think a lot of people, they're at their points of transition, and they're in their purpose, maybe. And when you're in your purpose, it doesn't mean that you're racking in all the dough. You got all the money pouring in, all the fans calling you, all the people writing your letters, everybody want to take your pictures. That doesn't mean that you're in your purpose.
Right.
Once you take that step forward, I believe that you're already in your purpose, because you have to walk in it. There's destinations in the purpose, but you just have to walk in your purpose.
That's it.
So do you ever find that struggle where you're an artist and you're a publicist? So one, you have this thing where you need to put yourself out there. And then two, you have this other thing where you have clients and you have to put their information out there. Is there ever a struggle there?
That's a really good question. And that's something I've really been grappling with. For me, I will say that there have been times when I have been guilty of putting one thing on the back burner while I focus on another.
Yeah.
So I will focus on my PR business and maybe put the music on the back burner. And here's the other thing. I've also been guilty of supporting others. I've been guilty of supporting others to a fault and neglecting my own achievements.
Come on.
And so I think that's something that I've really
had to throw something.
That I've been guilty of that. And I'm just being transparent. It's like, I will support you until kingdom comes, and yet I've got an album, I've got a book, and I've got got all these achievements as well.
Right.
But here's what I walk away with from this, Alan. What I walk away with is, I believe support is a seed. And what I mean by that is, you give it, you're going to receive it. And
Right.
so as I support others, as I push others, that's what I want to do. That's what, again, I'm an expert encourager. I love to push people. I know the gifts that are in people and I want them to shine.
Come on.
But on the flip side, I know somebody's going to do that for me. I know all it takes is one person to hear my music or to whatever, to where it's going to launch off like their success. So, you know, that's the answer to your question. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope that's
is it almost like, but is it like what you want is already positioned for you? So you have this certainty that it's going to happen anyways?
That's so true. Yes. And I will say, yes, that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
For me, whenever I released my album, it was one of those moments where I was just like, okay, God, one, what do you want me to do with it? And two, what's the plan? You know, is there a plan? It's on you, God. Like, you're the one that gave me these songs. I wrote these songs and it's on you, you know? So it was really on God. Like, I had somebody come up to me and say, what's your plan with the music? What's your plan with and I had other people like just ask, and I'm thinking, I'm just waiting on God, you know? Again, I think that like you said, you just kind of have to rely on that.
Yeah. That faith, let faith work.
Yeah.
You just show up. You show up and let faith work. So
he'll put his super with our natural,
right?
And make it supernatural.
Make it supernatural. Come on, somebody. Somebody say neighbor.
That's it, neighbor.
He'll make it supernatural.
That's it. So that's how I believe.
Yeah, I love that. So my next question here, just going on Royal Love and Not a Failure. So Not a Failure was your first album, and then you have Royal Love. So I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to release your albums Not a Failure and Royal Love?
Not a Failure was right after Sunday Best. I felt the pressure of releasing something right after. I already had Not a Failure, the instrumentation of that. And it was an EP, so it was only 3 songs on that album. Okay. And so it wasn't a whole lot, but it was just a teaser for what was to come. And I think that there was just a really smart business move for me to kind of have something prepared. I think that that's, again, as I mentioned before, maximize the moment. When you get that moment, have something, and this is just a freebie PR, free game for somebody. When your moment hits, have something for people to continue your purpose, continue your journey. So after my experience on Sunday Best was over, okay, how else can I listen to Antonio Santoro? Oh, he's got an EP coming out. Boom. Yeah. Okay, so that continues the Antonio Santoro story. So, so again, you've got to have something that leaves the taste buds wet, and you're ready to, ready for something else. Yeah. So that particular EP I had already kind of been in preparation for. And I wrote that song, Not a Failure, in particular, in a really dark time in 2015. Yeah. And again, it was just God telling me, you're not a failure, you're more than a conqueror. So that was a really powerful declaration for me. And so that's what really inspired that. And then Royal Love, that was just, I really wanted to do a full length album. And it just came together so well. It is definitely my vibe. There's some really good, there's a good mix on there. There's some ballads, there's some upbeat pop songs, there's some kind of urban type sounds as well on there. So it's a good mix of who I am. And so I really enjoy that album as well.
Yeah. I love it. You have this clean sound on your track. So it's very clean, crisp. And I could feel your intentions in your music. Like, some songs you're like, oh, I knew they probably were in love when they wrote that, but I don't hear it now. I can hear, the expectations, the excitement, and the love, the royal love, that special love from a royal king. So yeah. And I also watched one of your, you were singing that in your church. I watched one of those ones. You was killing it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I think, was that the one you were singing? Yeah, I think you were singing that.
Listen, there's so many, there's videos out there of me singing. I don't know, but yeah. But no, I appreciate it. I truly love the word of God, and I love to just worship God. Yeah. And if you listen to Royal Love, you will find in every song that there is some sort of scripture reference to it,
Mm-hmm.
Except for the very last song. The very last song was a tribute to my mother, but every song has a biblical base to it.
Yeah.
But it is, again, something that I'm very passionate about.
That's awesome. So y'all make sure y'all check out Royal Love.
Yep.
Out now. So I wanted to ask you this because you talked about 2015 being that difficult time, right? After, so this was post Sunday's Best, right? And this
2015 was that 2015 was before Sunday Best.
Okay, 2015 was before. So
yes.
you wrote Not a Failure after
so that
Sunday's
was
Best.
No, I wrote Not a Failure in 2015, not knowing I was going to release it. So it was
you wrote it then.
It was a song that literally was just sitting there.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had it in my back pocket for the right moment.
Yeah. So what year was Sunday's Best?
2019.
2019. Okay. Because you went and got your master's in 2016, 2017 time frame. So like, because I'm trying to get a scope of your life right here, because a lot of people, they hear Sunday's Best, they hear, oh, I have an album, I put out an album, and meanwhile he's going to college, 2007, 2010, he's getting his bachelor's, 2016, 2017, he's getting his master's. Meanwhile, in between all of that, there's a whole bunch of life happening. You're writing, so like, I think it's just important for people to realize that while you're in this journey to purpose, you may have several different compartments of your life that you have to be active in. You have to be engaging with your listeners, your audience, your family members, your friends, and you're so spread thin. How did you stay afloat during that difficult time?
Yeah. Let me say this: speed bumps are not meant for you to stop. Speed bumps are meant for you to slow down.
Come on.
And in the Bible, I'm going to reference Psalm 23. Everybody knows it, but it says he makes us lie down in green pastures, meaning we don't have a choice. He makes us do it. And so so there are times when we just have to pump the brakes, slow down, and say, hey, let me reset. 2015 was one of those times for me where I had to reset. It was a time when my 17-year-old nephew was texting and driving and lost his life.
Oh, wow.
It was a time where I lost a job that I absolutely loved. It was a time that I lost friends and family members. So it was a difficult time of loss. It was a very difficult time in my life. And again, I felt like a failure.
Yeah.
And so I really had to, I resorted to things that I knew were stable. So in the midst of instability, take a moment and find what's stable. So what is stable? So my relationship with my family, my faith, there are certain friends that I could really trust and lean on.
Yeah.
So there were some things that I really had to hold on to. And so it was a time where, and again, as I said, it's during those storms where they're really invitations to come closer, invitations to come closer to your purpose, to God, to what anchors you. Right. And so that's really what carried me through in those moments, in dark times.
Thank you for sharing that, man. Because it's, some people just don't realize that everybody's going through something. Everybody has gone through something. When I see an individual, like when I meet people, I instantly say like, oh, I love that person, right? Like I love Antonio. Like I've never met you a day in my life. This is the first time we're seeing each other like this. We're talking, we're having a conversation. And, the love that I have for people is the genuine love that God created you.
That's it.
Right. So since God created you, I empathize with people. I have this compassion. I seen these ladies trying to fix their tire last night while we were driving back from Columbia. My wife's pregnant, so I couldn't just stop like I wanted to, but my heart was like, I gotta stop. She's like, Alan. I was like, all right, so wife first, and then I go save the world, right? So, but so you sharing that, I just wanted to say that because I am one of those people who I meet people and we start talking about those deep things. We start talking about, man, I lost this person. I went through this. I went through depression. I went through suicidal. I was suicidal. I end up being the person that goes to that place with those people. And I don't think it's just because I'm funny or I'm charismatic or whatever. I think it's because I'm genuine.
That's
And
it.
I am empathizing with them. And I honestly want to know, how are you doing? Like, how did you, like, how can I help you? So I really do appreciate people like you
And we
who
skip
are,
and we skip.
huh?
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we do skip over that so much. If I'm at Starbucks, how are you doing? I'm good. No, but how are you doing?
How
Like,
are you?
we don't ever really take the time, because you never know what people are going through. And as you just shared, and I think that if we understand that we can be more transparent, I've said this oftentimes, use your scars, let your scars be your story, because it's your scars that, again, will help somebody else. And if you understand that the scars are really a part of the story, as a part of the journey, that Not a Failure would not have been written if it wasn't for job loss, if it wasn't for, my nephew, things just all work together for the good. And it won't always be like this. The Lord is perfecting that concerning you. And sooner or later, it's going to turn in your favor. It's turning around for you. So it's turning around for me.
Say it won't always.
By Bushra Mitchell, but
Don't make me go to church now.
That's not my song, but it is a song that I love, because I have to
Always.
understand it's turning around for me. It's going to be okay.
I mean, come on now. So first of all, he just going to just go into ministry mode and just drop some music. I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't ready yet. That was perfect timing. Now I do want to ask you, so could you give us, we're going to take a little pause here. Do you want to give them something from your album? Do you want to like a song, like a couple of, like how you just did it just now?
Sure. I can sing a little bit of Royal Love. Okay. Royal Love is the single and the title track of Royal Love, my album. So yeah, I could do a little bit of that. The royal is loyal to me. He gives grace sufficiently. Nothing can separate me from his love. Oh, that royal love. Nothing can separate you from love, from the love of God. Nothing can separate you.
That royal love. I was going to sing with you, but then I was like, I'm going to ruin this whole thing.
You can do whatever you want. This is your podcast. But let me say, if you want to get that, it's on my website. It's all over platforms, anywhere. And if you want to book me for any churches, ministries, seminars, whatever, I'm here for it. So
come on. So you're open to booking. So he's open to booking, singing. I'm going to have to hire him to sing on the show for intermission or something. We're going to figure something out. So we're gonna make that work. So you guys make sure you follow Antonio Santoro on Instagram, social media. Go to his website. Awesome page, awesome website. You can go through as easily to maneuver through his website to find what you need. And for the people out here with brands, we're gonna dive into it really quick, and then I'm gonna let Antonio go. I know I'm kind of over, okay. So you good? Okay, I don't want to get in trouble or nothing. You write a Google review like, man, Alan kept me on over. He like those Baptist preachers.
By the way, if you're watching and if you've not shared already, go ahead and share it. You need to go ahead and share this broadcast, because I believe something that was said during this broadcast and will be said is going to help somebody if it's not helped you already. So go ahead and share this, like and comment.
Yes, thank you. And everyone who has liked and commented and shared, we do appreciate you guys. We're just out here trying to get the message out to people, and I love that I've brought people on who I'm just like, I can't wait for the world to see them, because, I believe that, people who are walking in purpose deserve to be, shared with the world, especially people who are genuine about their purpose. Pastor Speller, I wanted to shout out you. Thank you. He says great interview as well, but I was on his show. You have to bring Antonio on your show, Pastor Speller.
Come on, Pastor Speller. Where's Pastor Speller? Where's Pastor Speller located?
He's out there in Charlotte.
All right, Charlotte. That's not too far from Atlanta.
Make that connect. So we could do that, but he does it live like this as well. So you guys love it. That'll work out. So we're about to go through, and we was on the journey to purpose. Now we're into, we kind of hit on finding purpose, but I wanted to ask you, have you ever struggled with limiting beliefs as a publicist and singer, and how do you process that?
Yes, I did. So I actually launched my PR business at the beginning of this year, in the beginning of 2021, launched it, and really started to build up my clientele, build up the brands and whatnot. But what really, I'll be honest, there are times when I'm really dealing with the limiting belief of, can I really do this? Like, am I really equipped for this? And I have to remind myself that, and again, this is for anybody else, if God brings you to it, it's for you. If you come up to something, you're not supposed to, you're an overcomer. You overcome that thing. And so for myself, I had to understand that this opportunity of me building my business was literally given to me. And that is something that I know was meant for me in this time. Again, I graduated with a PR degree 10 years ago, but it's just now that I am building my business. And so I think that there's a time and season for everything, and the time is now.
Yeah, come on. There's a time and season for everything, and the time is now. So that's a beautiful thing, because a lot of people, they go through life, they fill up their toolbox, right? They fill up their toolbox of, man, I'm an electrician, I'm a singer, I'm a publicist. Like, you could be so many things with this amount of time that we've been given on this earth. But sometimes that tool isn't needed for that moment, right? For that season.
That's right.
You may not be right mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
So true.
So you can't just whip out the tool and then you end up breaking the tool. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to force it to work. You end up snapping something.
Don't force it. Let it flow. Let it flow. Because and again, that happened to me. I mean, I was a radio show host for a year. But guess what? It was for a year. I was a certified life coach. I still am a certified life coach, but I don't practice that anymore. And boom, so again, there are times and seasons for everything. And so don't try to force it. Don't try to force it.
Yeah. Don't try to force it. I have this up here. Services include public relations, media relations, crisis, and risk management. And so with PR, so I've had the opportunity to talk to some publicists before, and because I literally did not know what a publicist was when I first started out this podcast. I was like, publicists? Oh, they're supposed to, do your marketing and stuff, right? And I was like, no, really, it's public relations, right? Media relations, crisis, and risk management. So for the listeners here, a lot of these people, most of them are probably entrepreneurs. They have a brand, a business, and they started maybe within the last couple of years. And some of us are at the point where social media algorithm isn't really working for us, so how do we navigate our businesses via social media or in person with the way the algorithms are set up nowadays?
Sure. Great question. First and foremost, I think that we need to prepare, and I think this goes for every brand. And again, you were talking about brands, organizations, all that stuff. I think everybody has a story. And it's a matter of if you want to tell your story or if you want to let somebody else do it. And I think that you hiring a publicist will allow you to tell your story for you. But to go back to your question, I think that we need to prepare for doing offline PR, offline publicity, because I believe, this is just me, but we saw just last Monday, social media blacked out, and again, I believe that's going to be more prevalent. I just did a blog post on it. What do you do? How do you navigate the next blackout? Because it's going to happen again. And so I think that you need to start to, again, as we talked about earlier in the broadcast, building the network of people, understanding where your audience resides and listens to you. Again, YouTube, you're on YouTube. That's perfect for, that's a great platform. You don't really ever hear YouTube going down. You know what I'm saying? So these are different things that, again, you want to make sure that you have stable processes in place. And then if, you just have to understand where your audience is listening to you and finding you. So that's how I would recommend regarding the algorithms piece. You got to understand that algorithms aren't everything. As I mentioned before, all you need is one person. And so I think that's what's really powerful, is that PR is more than just trying to get the numbers and likes and comments and shares.
Right. I love that. And I know, like I've met so many publicists and I'm just like, I bought some courses. I still got to finish some courses and I love the people that I've connected with. And I'm just like, all right, God, I'm letting God lead me in a way because I know I need it, and I'm glad I connected with you. I know that I need it. I know that there's more to what I have already. So like meeting publicists and meeting people like you, it just goes to show me like, hey, all right, you got yourself here. Now it's time for someone to help you get to the next level. And so I see that. I see the value in having a publicist.
Yeah. And that's here's the other thing is, and I'm glad you put down there PR publicist and strategic storyteller, because that's really what, the services that I provide. And this is for anybody and everybody that's listening. Again, you have a story, you have a brand, this is for you. I provide two services, and it falls in two packages. One is a PR publicist where I find PR campaigns for you, where I'm pushing you to the media, where you are ready, set, go. It's time to put your story out there, put your brand out there, and position you. Then I've also got strategy sessions. Strategy sessions are for those people that are just like, I know there's more. I know that, I may not have the website together. I may not have the brand together. I'm just kind of growing. Those are the strategy sessions. And that's where it's just 1 hour sessions with me. There's no contract. There's none of that. It's just one-on-one. You get me for an hour and boom, let's focus on some objectives. Whereas the PR campaign is a contract where we really kind of figure out what the campaign looks like. So again, my job as a publicist is to maximize your message and to properly position you into the spotlight your brand deserves. And your brand story deserves a spotlight. And it's important for me to recognize which spotlight to put you under. And so I pitch you to the media. I find the compelling angles. I try to figure out how you can get better exposure. And again, I found this podcast through seeing you, on LinkedIn and through Tracy Phillips and LinkedIn and stuff. And I actually pitched one of my clients to you because I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity because again, a podcast has great power if positioned properly as well.
If positioned properly, you're right. And he did pitch his client to me, and I have her on the 28th, I believe. Like so, in like 2 weeks or so. Yeah. So that's going to work out. And with that, because a lot of people think like, oh, well, like with the podcast, I had to learn that I don't go in like, oh, I want like 1 million people watching me right now. My goal when I do podcasts is one, I just love the live and like I love people interacting and stuff, right? But my thing is after the podcast because I make snippets. Like I make snippets and I see the difference and I look at the algorithms and I look at how people are engaging with the podcast. Some people will sit for a whole hour and a half of a podcast. Some people will. And then some people will stay for like the first 5 minutes and then they'll leave and then they'll come back for 10 minutes and then they'll leave. Right. So it just goes off and on. And my message for people out there is don't watch the waves. Like, don't look at the waves and say, oh, the water is coming in. Like everybody's coming in, it's flooding in. And then the waves draw back. And now you're without purpose. Right now, the crowd stops calling your name and now you're without purpose. The money stops flowing in. So like, don't look at the waves. Just enjoy being at the beach. Enjoy it. Enjoy the scenery.
And again, we're such a microwave generation and a microwave like instantaneous type of society that you're right. I mean, the clips and I mean, look at what's popping off right now. TikTok and Reels on Instagram. And I think Facebook just added Reels. So everybody loves a good 1 minute snippet and it's good, So that's important. That's it. Again, just be mindful of that for those that are trying to share their story independently.
Yeah.
That video is king, number one. And number two, put it out there in quick snippets.
Yeah. And what do you think about with IBM? They did this. So I did the everyday influencer and they were like, all right, don't use your lights. Like I want original light and I need you on your original look. Like you don't need any, like I don't wear makeup or nothing, but like you don't need to do anything different. Just put your camera on and start talking. And people seem to like that even more. They love the authentic, like, oh, Alan woke up, Antonio woke up this morning. He got on there and said, hey, good morning. I want you guys to be motivated, dedicated. Have a great day. Boom. That moves.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that you have to understand who your audience is. If you were my client, Alan, and we are going to be on another podcast. Sure, great. Or if you're posting videos on your personal Instagram, great. But if I've got you booked on CNN, ABC News, or the Today Show, we're gonna make sure we're gonna make sure that
we're gonna look good. Yeah,
you're gonna look great.
You know, hey, look, we're gonna be right out there. I'm gonna have the fresh fade out there.
Hello.
So y'all heard that? Antonio said that he's gonna put me on CNN, NBC, ABC, BET, ABCD, We gonna hey, look, for real though, we gonna talk. So
we can work that out.
You know, because I'm at this place in my life where I know that like I've showed myself that I really want it. I didn't want to come in here, drop a bunch of money and do different things and not really know if I was backing myself up, right? Because a lot of times we could be hyped into purpose, oh, go girl, you could do it, go boy, you could do it, and you're like, yeah, they said I could do it. They said they could see me speaking on the stage, so I'm gonna just go do it. No, you know what I did? And this when I started my brunch events in Charlotte, when I first started speaking, I was like, I'm tired of asking people if I could come speak on their stage. Like, I just got tired. I didn't have a publicist. I didn't have a career. I was like, I'm tired of asking people if I can come speak at their events. I'm going to start my own brunch event. I started Brunch with Ties, and I had like 5 guys. Then it went to 15. Then it went to 20. And it's like, oh, wow. Like, I created my own platform. And you know what I did with that platform? I let other people speak on my platform. You know what I mean? I just let them do it. I was like, hey, look, I'll give you a platform. Go ahead and speak. Do your purpose. So like what Antonio was saying earlier, like once you go do it, you kind of you activate that purpose, and then you help other people out within your purpose.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why you're in your purpose.
And what a powerful principle. When people don't let you sit at the table, build your own table.
Build your own. Come on.
I mean, that's something for somebody. Like, go do you. I mean, stop trying to fit in with the others. Mm-hmm. And that's a good right there. I can keep on, but I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're wrapping it up, folks. We're wrapping it up. And I really do appreciate you guys for hanging in there. Those of you who are hanging out with us today, thank you guys so much. Make sure you like and share and subscribe on YouTube to the Purpose Pod. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow Antonio on Instagram. I do Instagram. He got Twitter and everything. I did not put your Twitter up there.
It's all good. Listen, Instagram, just go to my website. It's all on my website.
The website. Go to the website. You guys could go there and connect with them. Please make sure you guys connect. If you have a brand business and you're not even sure what your next step is, please reach out to Antonio. That's why I have him here. For all my entrepreneur friends, people who are watching this snippet right now, I want you guys to have a great, successful business, and I'm bringing people to you. So you have to do something on the other side. So that's that. So
let's work.
Let's get to work. So we're in walking in your purpose. All right. So we're at this part. We already talked about the roadblocks, the downtime, the struggles, and identity. We've talked about all of that, right? We talked about limiting beliefs, right? Yeah. We all have those from time to time. We talked about faith as well. So I wanted to say, oh yeah, can you tell us about with Sunday Best, right? You talked about Sunday's Best, but there's this thing called standing on a stage and working in your purpose type thing. Like, when you're like, oh, just have fun. I wanted to ask you something about that for the walking in your purpose segment, because fear kicks in. And then you said some people were just looking like, oh my God, like I'm afraid. What do you have to say to those people out there, those entrepreneurs, those brand ambassadors, brand owners who are afraid to release what they have?
I say jump and the net will appear. Mm-hmm. I think that, again, you have to understand that. I mean, I sound like a broken record, but there are people waiting for you. What are you waiting on? Because there are people waiting for you. And I want you to understand that there is something inside of you that is meant to come out for others. And so for those that feel fearful, address the fear, address the anxiety, get over that, because that's normal. It's one thing that you just have to overcome.
Yeah.
Just say, listen, I'm built for this, because as I said, if it's brought to you, it's meant for you. And so if your business, if your brand, if your opportunity, if you being on BET stage, whatever, if you're on a Tyler Perry movie set, whatever it is, if you're like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can do this, guess what? pull your pants up and get your britches on. It's time to go. Like it's time to do this. And so I want you to understand that, because fear, here's the thing, fear holds people back so much. And I'm so tired of seeing that. And even in my life, like, but I'm so tired of seeing, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of no's? Guess what? The worst thing people could say is no.
No.
The worst thing that can happen is failure. But here's the thing, it's not loss, it's just lessons. It's not a loss, it's just a lesson. And I just talked with literally a multimillionaire 2 weeks ago. We had dinner here in Atlanta. We were talking, listen, God brings me to tables and I'm just like, God, I don't know what you're doing. But I was sitting at a table and I was talking with this gentleman. And I said, what is it? How do you get to this wealthy mindset? And he said, literally, he said, the wealthy look for opportunities rather than security. And so if you look for the opportunities, seize those opportunities. I just saw this morning on social media how Bill Gates provided this journalist a blank check. She said, how do you become successful? He gave her a blank check. She said, no, that's not what I'm asking. How do you become successful? He said, no, here, take the blank check. She said, no, you're not answering my question. And he literally ripped up the blank check and said, you missed the point. The point was, how do you become successful? You become successful by seizing this opportunity. A billionaire just gave you a check. And you didn't sign off on it. So again, seize the moment, seize the opportunity, get past that fear, because again, that fear is not meant for you. It's really just holding you back.
Yeah. I love that. I wish Bill Gates would come up to a brother named Alan Simmons and write that check, boy. All you got to do is give it to me. I'm writing zeros behind a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4.
Same here. Same here.
Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. But I love that you shared that, and thank you so much for sharing that, because there's a lot of people that are too humble. They're too humble for their own purpose. Oh no, no, I don't need it. Oh no, don't worry about it. It's like if you reached out to me and you're like, hey, Alan, I love your podcast. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I just left it there. Right. I was like, oh, thanks, Antonio. And that was the end. That could have been the end of our conversation. Right. I didn't have to say, hey, I would love to have you on my show. Like, I didn't even know you. I didn't even know nothing about it. I just knew that you reached. Isn't it crazy? Like, I knew that you reached out to me. I knew that you were connected to Tracy Phillips, and I knew that you were living in purpose based on you, because you messaged me. You went out of your way to message me after, seeing the interview. So like, I just think it's so important for people to understand that you have to go out of your way sometimes for your purpose. And then sometimes you just have to stay put. So definitely,
because that's the other thing. And again, and that's so important that you say that, because again, I messaged you back in March or April of this year. And if we understand that purpose takes time, there's process to purpose. And so if we understand that it takes time for us to come to an October 12th, 2021, for us to have this moment. So again, I think that that's important to note as well.
Yeah. Come on now, because it was early in the year. So like, please don't give up on yourselves. Don't, like, if you see something, like I've messaged Steve Harvey, I messaged people like you, if you look at my DM on Instagram, you'd be like, this boy fool up. Like, cause I am messaging people, and I believe that what's for me is going to be for me. I'm not going to send them 800 messages. I'm going to send that one message. Hey, Alan Simmons, here's my story. This is what I'm about, and if that door is supposed to open, it's going to open. So
exactly. And again, I always say, what's the worst that they can say? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Big deal. Like, okay, next.
Hey, I made a lot of sales when I worked at a store called Buckle in Charlotte, and they used to say, go for no. Like, you want to go for no. And let me tell you, Antonio, like, I sold some $170 jeans to people which they came in for a watch, left with some shoes, some socks, some pants, some 5 shirts, right? So when you go for no, yes isn't even of the matter. Like, you don't even care if they say yes, you're waiting for the no. So whenever we're out here living in our purpose, like, don't be afraid to say to the millionaire, hey, I have a business, I have an idea, would you like to invest? Right?
That's right.
Go for it. Right. So I love it. So I don't even think I asked you, what does purpose mean to you? I missed that whole part, but we've been talking about purpose this whole time, and it's been wrapped into it. So we don't have to. I don't want to backtrack. I want to move forward into this. And it says, what do you want? This is the big question here. What do you want your legacy to be?
You know, my legacy will be that I really allowed others to see themselves. And when I say that is, again, as an expert encourager, as someone that loves to encourage, inspire, and empower others, as someone that literally innately loves to see people win. I want to leave winners. That's what I want to leave. And I want winners to be shining whenever I leave this earth. Yeah. I want people to recognize that Antonio Santoro, although he was shining in his own right, left some other stars behind as well. And the way he did that was supporting, was encouraging, pushing, motivating, sending a nice good morning text saying, hey, I'm thinking of you, sending prayer emojis, whatever it is, to people, and just let people know, hey, I'm thinking of you today. You don't, again, we mentioned, you don't realize what people are going through. And I want somebody to realize that I've always been in your corner. Yeah. And again, for those that are listening, you got a friend in me. I will be in your corner, and sometimes I'm loyal to a fault, but I promise you, there's something about that. I think that that's something really important to say. And so that's my passion, is just to support others in that way.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. So you my spiritual brother, man. I know it. You my brother. You my identical brother from another mother.
We are brothers.
Yeah. You know, I love when people have that kind of heart. So I really do appreciate you, Antonio. And we're definitely going to do some work together.
Sure.
So I'm definitely going to hit you up for that. And we got people rolling in here. Hey, if you just tuned in, make sure you go back and watch the full interview. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow Antonio on Instagram, or go to his website right here, www.antoniosantoro.me. Make sure you do that today. Check him out, y'all. Like, if you don't have a business, get this. If you don't have a business and you know somebody that has a business, just send them the link to this video, or just send them Antonio's website. They don't even have to watch the video. Just say, hey, I know what you need. I got what you need. Bam. Drop it right there.
Let me say this. I do provide free consultation calls. So if you are like, hey, I don't even know where to start, I provide a 30-minute free consultation call. And let me say this last thing. I will give 25% off of a strategy session if you mention Purpose Pod. If you mention Purpose Pod, I'll give 25% off of that, and we will and we can work on a strategy session. So again, I love to see people shine, and I'm grateful for this platform to do that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm writing out that.
Yeah.
Mention Purpose Pod and you'll get 25% off on a strategy session. So all you Meaning Forge, Pastor Speller, all y'all people out there, Brendan, like, hey, look, you guys, I know you guys have businesses and you're trying to make it out there, and you're trying to reach your audience. So make sure that it's not just you maximizing your message, that somebody else is carrying your message for you and taking it to the right places, the right avenues.
Yes. So grateful again. And again, I'm just grateful, Alan, for our connection, our new brotherhood, and for this platform. I'm grateful for what you're doing on these podcast streets. For pushing the purpose out there and allowing people to really see and dig deep in their purpose. So again, kudos to you, but I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to our connection and connection with those that are watching and listening in the future of the rebroadcast as well.
Thank you. So I appreciate that, Antonio. That means a lot when people just give me a gift of words. I love it. I'm a man of words. So I appreciate that so much. So you guys make sure you follow him. We have Brendan says, never compare yourself to no one else. I see the Juvie podcast. They have the similar topics like my podcast, which is self-improvement, but I can't be them. I can only be me.
That's Brendan. Right.
That's right, Brendan. That's right. That's right. If you don't take nothing away from this, other than, you know, contacting Antonio, take be yourself, be a light, be a light like Antonio, because he's not a light bulb, he's a candle wick. Candle wicks can light other candle wicks, right? He wants to go ignite, not just carry his own light, he's going to ignite the light of others. So,
and let me add to that. And I don't lose my light by lighting somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it doesn't take away from me. When you burn another candle from another candle, it doesn't take away the first flame. No, so understand that candle, as I burn, it doesn't take anything away from me. So I encourage others out there, burn some other candles.
And Meaning Forge, thank you for mentioning that. Heads up, my stuff, it will be premiering next week with a few clips. So make sure you guys check out Meaning Forge on YouTube and subscribe as well. So, hey, Jim, you need to connect with Antonio. So I'm over here being a publicist. Look, hey, Antonio, on your podcast, let's make it happen. Pastor Speller, Brendan. Hey, we got 3 people with podcasts on here. I want to see Antonio on you guys' podcast. So let's do it. Let's make it work. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we appreciate you guys. Do you have any final words? I know we have your devotional here. Make sure you guys go to his website, www.imantoniosantoro.com, and support, man. Go ahead and get that. You're supporting him and supporting yourself.
Yes, for sure. And again, so my final thoughts and my final words are just this. Y'all understand that you have a purpose. This podcast hopefully ignited something within you. I desire that you are inspired, encouraged, and empowered to dive into your purpose. Remember to seek, sow, and serve to find your success. Understand that there's something greater for you out there, and do not allow anything at all, no circumstance or situation, inhibit you from pursuing and pressing toward the mark. So again, I would love to connect with you all. You see right there my personal Instagram and my professional Instagram, but you can go to my websites as well. I am AntonioSantoro.com for my ministry and personal website, and AntonioSantoro.me for my PR website. I look forward to connecting with you all, those that watch. But again, thank you so very much, Alan, for this opportunity and for our connection.
Thank you, Antonio. And I'll be right back there with you in a few, so don't go anywhere. I'm gonna take you off screen for a second. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Antonio Santoro. Woo!
See you guys. Thank you.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for tuning in to another episode of the Purpose Pod, purposely driving you forward with power and faith. I hope that your faith has been ignited, that your purpose has been ignited, and that you will head towards your purpose and walk in your purpose with some power and love. Be compassionate, and make sure you guys go check out Antonio. So just a few quick things right here. Hey Ty app, make sure you download Hey Ty app and watch the Purpose Pod on there. Make sure you guys download Petty Gigs if you want some gigs, some petty gigs, cutting grass, babysitting, walking dogs. Check out Petty Gigs. Check out my latest episode with J. Dwayne Garnett from last episode, Love is a Parable. And definitely like and share this episode with Antonio Santoro so that you guys can reach the world through us and that we can reach the world through you. So I love you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Like I said before, this is another episode of the Purpose Pod. I am your host. Oh, wait. Alan has new bags out, Marine Corps edition, Never Stop, Never Quit, Repeat. Make sure you guys go on shoppersist.com. Never stop, never quit, repeat. Follow your dreams, follow your purpose. Peace.